Hello everyone, Manathrall here, and welcome to the weekly update video. Now this week is just patch notes week. I know some people hate that, but usually delivers some decent content. Well, it's technically Ninja week, but it's essentially a patch week. But we will get into that shortly. Up first though, we have the official soundtrack that is released. You can get the double deluxe vinyl, CDs. You can get it through, I think it's Spotify. There's many ways of getting it. So it is there if you guys want it. I think I might actually get it myself. There is a survey. I will discuss the survey after the patch notes because I actually was able to take part in the survey. I got contacted through one of my accounts, and it was an interesting survey. I don't remember all the questions, but I do remember some of them. RuneScape for this month is still the elite skilling outfit piece, including the dungeoneering outfit, so keep that in mind. Ironman is the deep sea fishing emote. Live streams this week is Tuesday, September 18th at 1600 UTC, RuneScape Q&A, and Friday, September 21st at 1500 UTC, patch notes teasers. And September 23rd at 1800 UTC is PVM with Mod Lee, of course. Alright, up next we have the patch notes, which there's player-owned farm fixes and patches. They added Balthazar to the player-owned farm, a grammatical oddity when inspecting female animals in the add remove animals player-owned farm interface has been fixed. The destroy empty buckets when farming will now factor in interactions between the new buckets of the player and farm manure and compost bin. Tick it if you want to get rid of your buckets, untick it if you'd rather keep them. Which, kind of 50-50 if you ask me. Remove forest walk tile north of Ardone. The player will no longer get trapped in the windmill while completing the chosen commander quest. You can now use noted raw sailfish on feeding troughs at your farm. Sorry about that. Remove 2 forest walk tiles next to the Ardone beehives. Fix the patch of ground outside the Ardone mill that was using old textures. Change the Ardone lunar spell to be outside the breeding pen. Also tweak the Ardone cloak teleport to not be around the compost bin, but closer to the herb patch and the breeding pen. The all-new farmer outfit pieces now have a retrieve all option on them when reclaiming from Diango. Granny Potterington now sells animal pen kits on the farmer's market. Royal dragons can now only be bred using super secret farming methods. Hotfixed. The catch-up now correctly works when it comes to increasing happiness and health of your animals. Payments in the herblore habitat farming circle are now properly reduced whilst wearing the master farmer outfit. The Chinchampa buyer will now correctly purchase any type of Chinchampas, even if it's not the variety they are after. Carnivorous Chinchampas have been changed to omnivore status and will now eat everything like every other Chinchampa. White lilies can once again be planted without vanishing while wearing the Master Farmer outfit. Ninja. The Grand Exchange sale history has been doubled in size to now store 20 transactions. Activated spirit gems that have yet to use any charge can now be converted back into unactivated variants. After a GE offer is resolved, either finished or cancelled, the player can now press a button on the items resolved screen or right click on the Grand Exchange offer square to collect items and create a new offer with the same details as the previous offer. So basically relist it. Selecting an item in the Grand Exchange search no longer immediately closes the search. Ring of Fire, Flame Gloves, Inferno ads can now be reclaimed from King Rolled if lost without having to replay the all fired up minigame. Players can now right click on entry in the GE history and access OPS while ops to repeat that offer. Immediate repeat immediately creates an identical offer, whereas detailed repeat brings up the offer creation screen with the relevant details filled in case you want to tweak some of the parameters. Basically, you can either relist it or completely relist it by changing it up. You can now add your pets to a cycle of up to 10 that can be summoned on rotation by using the checkbox on the pet interface. Re-added the event information tooltip to the in-game clock. Added the drop X option for cooked Daemonheim food. The Pathfinder armor has received graphical updates. Mobile. Updated the layout of the reward shops such as Waco and Elite Dungeon reward shops to allow them to be more usable on mobile. Reward shops will now have a standard layout size, allow scrolling, and increase font size. Updated the breakdown and invention items levels in the check invention item interface. Press the level information button, and after you check an augmented item to view item level information. Replace desktop terminology on mobile for clan chat and guest clan chat windows when you are not in one of these chat channels. Swiping action bars to cycling through them was not working for users in both internal and external play testing. We have removed the swiping of action bars in favor of buttons to select which bar is displayed, numbered from 1 to 10, and tap the small numbered display button to bring up the selection bar. Fixed an issue in the mobile client that was causing examine boxes, info boxes, error boxes, and etc. to render behind interfaces. For zoomed in mobile interfaces that were not visible, they should now be. Fix an issue that was forcing minigame side window open constantly on mobile, for example Dungeoneering, while on the backpack, opening the door, solving a puzzle, defeating an enemy, etc. and action had a chance to open the Dungeoneering interface panel. The same was the case to make X in the player-owned house flat packs. The side panel should now behave on a mobile correctly. The ancient artifact drop unlocking the Bombi pet from Virago has been added to the Rune Metrics activity drop log. The ability on your action bar will consistently light up if they are off cooldown. Void Knight Mage Helm is no longer listed as a Ranger Helm in the commendations store. Fixed a typo in Vicendith's scribblings. Fix a typo in the player-owned ports. Helping Hand event. Catspeak Amulet interface can now be closed via the red X. When cast on a location other than farming patch, the rapid growth spell now displays the error. Rapid growth can only affect herb, fruit tree, and fruit tree patches instead of this patch has already been enchanted with rapid growth today. Further casting would kill the plant. Destroying Lucky Bars items from Treasure Hunter will no longer give misleading prompt before informing players that they can receive the items from Diango as a broken variant. An issue causing unexpected sounds to be played in the upstairs of Enil's Dragon Inn has been fixed. A typo when asking Morvaran about tips on fighting Orit as your Slayer task has now been corrected. Fix an issue where private messages appeared in public chat under certain conditions. Offering stackable items or offering X items in a trade will no longer offer the entire stack. Drezel will no longer skip over earlier quest dialogues if the player has managed to start a later quest. Divine Simulacrums will no longer give energy or portents when shared knowledge buff is active. Enter text no longer disappears if you hit a certain character limit. The hive mind of Master Farmers and Olivia of the Seed Merchant has been broken up. She will only know if you have pickpocketed Martin recently. The World Wakes achievement now unlocks as expected. Boosting your divination level past 99 will no longer reduce XP gained from Cursed Wisps. Players' chat will no longer jump to start while they are typing a message. Due to bug, Oldat coils and kinetic cyclones can now be reclaimed from Nelidian near the entrance to the Door of the Mind. If Nelidian cannot find your registered cannon coil cyclone on your current world, this fix is temporary. Killing monsters in a sinkhole will now instantly remove their interaction options, allowing you to collect your loot and move on much quicker. The Crystal Capsule Shadow Gem reward token is now bankable. Coins gained from smashing relics will now appear properly, go into your coin pouch rather than your inventory. And now we are going to head over to the player survey. Now, I already completed the survey, so I can't get back into it, but I can say this. The survey, you do have until the 21st to complete the survey, and you would have received the survey roughly on the 14th of September. And the questions that were in it was linking a lot to what would you like to see on RuneScape? Like, what kind of updates would you like to see in the future? What kind of technical stuff would you like to see? They were talking about, like, new clients, graphical updates, and now by I mean new client, I mean new engine. More control support, so like being able to use the gamepad instead of a mouse and keyboard. The tick system, changing that. All sorts of changes involving how the game mechanics work. And there's also a lot of questions about, like, okay, what kind of games do you like to play? Would you be interested in a new type of RuneScape game, or a new type of Jagex game? And if so, like what would be your top picks? And they were asking about different genres, and so it's looking like there's a possibility that they are looking to be making another game, which I hope that's not the case, because so far as an entire standings, Jagex has made multiple games. Now, I'm not saying they're bad at making games, but when you have a big game like RuneScape and old school RuneScape, I mean, they're both pretty big for the size of the company it is. And you start trying to shovel in more and more projects like these with more and more games, it's going to have a negative impact, because you're taking away from the main game and you're giving to something that might not work. I mean, look at Fun Orb. Fun Orb worked for a while, but then they just kind of gave up on it. Look at Chronicle. Worked for a little bit, but they kind of just didn't do anything with it. So it crashed. Darkscape. That was actually pretty popular, but it was away from the main game. So that eventually crashed. There was different things throughout this entire time where they could have put more effort into it, but they haven't. So if their effort is there, if they're really serious about it, that'd be fantastic. One thing though, Jagex, if you really want to bring in multiple games, if you really want to bring in stuff like that, take your Fun Orb project, bring that into the core game of RuneScape itself. Now, how would you go about this? Like, if you want to have a big project like that. Okay, for instance, one of the popular ones was Arcanist. A lot of people know of Arcanist if you played Fun Orb. And put that in the Wizard's Tower. Have that as a capability in the Wizard's Tower. Have it the exact same game, but in the Wizard's Tower, and then you could get, points just like if you were in the RuneSpan. If, let's say, Armies of Gielinor, I was going to say mobilizing armies. Armies of Gielinor, that one was pretty popular. Instead of mobilizing armies, completely scratch that one and put in Armies of Gielinor. That would be much better for that. The reward system was good, the concept was good, but it wasn't properly executed. There was a dungeoneering type one, where players got to make their own dungeon and other people got to get through and try to get the loot. Put that in through dungeoneering. Like, there was a lot of good mini games in there. but they could be put into the main game of RuneScape. Chronicle, it was a very good game. Just bring it into RuneScape. Instead of trying to make all these other games and these new games, just bring them into RuneScape. It would really be that simple, because like, even if they would have to keep the same type of style of the game, because maybe it doesn't work with RuneScape's graphics, just keep it the same, like just kind of like a little mini game for the player. That would all be all they have to do. But yeah, so it was a lot of questions like that. It was a lot of questions of like, how much time do you spend gaming? How much, like, what do you do? Your age, that kind of stuff. Your traditional questions. But a lot of it was focused on the future of RuneScape, what you value about RuneScape, and what RuneScape means to you. Now, for me personally, I can answer that question right now to you guys as well. What is RuneScape to me? It's not the controls, it's not the graphics for me. Because I'm perfectly happy with it being the old graphics and the current graphics, or even better graphics. I'm perfectly fine with them removing the tick system and completely changing that to be more in line with normal MMOs. But because what to me is RuneScape is the diverse skilling. Anybody can do anything in this game. Like, if there's a skill you want to do, you can go and do it. You have no restriction. So there is currently 28 skills. So there is something in there for most people, unless you really don't like the game because of, well, graphical. It's really essentially the only way. Because skilling has been getting a lot of buffs lately, so a lot of it is based around the skill rather than going out and doing combat or other skills. And then you have the questing. Questing and lore, for me, are two of them, but they kind of go hand in hand. Most games, questing is essentially the Slayer skill for RuneScape. Go out, kill this many of this thing, come back, get your reward. That is Slayer. Now, for RuneScape, yeah, that is a skill for them. A quest has a lot of story, has a lot of puzzles. Each quest series has its own story to tell. It's not all around one thing. Like, not every single quest that was released around the time of Sliske's endgame dealt with Sliske. It's not one of those kind of things. Just like not every single quest that came out during the same year as Menaphos. Not every single quest dealt with Menaphos. There was many other quests. So that's what RuneScape is to me, is the quest and the lore. Because each quest has a lot of lore to it. Some things are goofy, but there's always lore. So that's what it is to me. I'm kind of curious, what is RuneScape to you guys? Like, what defines RuneScape as a game to you? Like, what do you think of when you think of RuneScape? See, for me, like I said, I think of the diverse skilling, the questing, and the lore. I know not everybody might like the questing, but man, is their questing so much different than most MMOs, if not all. So, that's why I love it. But yeah, tell me down in the comments below what you guys think. But anyway, that'll do it for today's episode though, so thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, later guys.